So just tell us how you've used the time between the two games.
Yeah, just to review a few things of where we've been, looking at some things kind of in terms of the players and freshening them up, because they've played every week of the season, and we have had a few like niggles and a few injuries in there as well. So trying to get everybody back up and running was a big one for us in terms of for the medical and the performance side of it. Ours was looking at little bits of areas of where we wanted to be better and wanted to improve going forward in the season, things that we'd already done well. And when we've looked back these large areas that we have done well, like you look at our away form and the way that we've shown some kind of grit and resilience in terms of applying ourselves there, and then obviously there's a little bit of disappointment in terms of the home form. So a few little things that we've looked at, whether we could improve certain areas has been the big focus more than anything.
So how different could the 17 look this week from the last game?
Yeah, ideally you don't want it to look too different, but again, we keep talking about we've probably not been able to field the same team week in, week out all the time. It's been very difficult. Probably a few teams have been like that, but luckily enough, we've got most guys come through, haven't we, from that game. Obviously Leroy's the one who's obviously not in there, which is obviously disappointing for us. Yeah, because he's been going real well for us as Leroy. So there'll be a few little tweaks in there, and obviously we've let obviously Matty English go out on loan to get some game time as well. So we've kind of lost a couple, but we've got a couple back in. Like Andre's fully kind of fit now as well, so hopefully he'll be able to stand up and show his level of performance this weekend.
Just on Leroy, what's the issue with him?
He's got a hip issue. We thought it was a hip flexor at first, but the specialists and all them have looked at it and they've cleared out something that's long term, and it's more short term now, but it'll be basically going week by week with him and seeing where we get to. But at the moment he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, mate, to be fair.
And so the noises there would suggest that Andre might get his shot this week if he does what you expect him from him, given the fact he's probably not played for so long.
Yeah, he'll feature. He will feature this week, Andre. It's the right time to bring him back in now. He's done. He's got a few good weeks under his belt training wise. So yeah, no, he's ready. He's excited. He's looking forward to it. But yeah, he will definitely feature.
But I mean, that's one heck of a milestone, isn't it?
Yeah, massive. It's great that he's still doing what he's doing and what he's been doing all his kind of career. 550 is massive, mate. To get to that level and still be in probably the condition he's in it's no small feat by any stretch of the imagination, is it?
Especially being a middle.
I mean, look at the state of Bibby. He's only played 20 games, Bibby. So if you play in the middle like Chris Hill and you flipping it, yeah, he's in good nick, isn't it? To be fair,
yeah, very good nick.
Yeah, so yeah, no, all credit to him, mate. He's been outstanding as a rugby league player, and hopefully he can tick off quite a few more games.
Jake will get his chance to get his own back in a minute.
Yeah.
Just on Matty English, what's the rationale behind Matty English's loan?
Yeah, just game time. I've had a little chat with Matty about some of the reasons of kind of what we're picking, of why we're in. Some of them were selection issues in certain games, and then some of them were to do with a couple of things that we'd spoke about, what we want him to be a little bit better on. But it was nothing to do in terms of probably a wholly in and around kind of performance. It was more to do with his match fitness and him being a middle, and us not wanting to lose that, because I think 3 weeks now is since he last played. I think the last game he played was Wigan, I think, for us. So he's missed probably 3 games, obviously then with the break as well. That's like kind of 4 weeks. So what we need to do is make sure that he's ready to play. And Castleford wanted some middles. They'd had a few injury issues. And Matty, I had a chat with him on, what day were we on, Thursday? Tuesday. I had a chat with him on Tuesday after training. And he said like he would like to look at something like that if he could, to get his fitness, because the one thing we worry about is the reserves. The other week was a really good game against Warrington and quite a high end game, but them games are few and far in between in the reserve games. So to keep Matty at a level of where we need him to be when he needs to come back in, he needs to really be playing Super League. So listen, he's a great bloke. He'll go and give it his all for Castleford and try his best from there. He's a player that gives 100% week in, week out anyway. But yeah, just in and around fitness, mate.
And do you point to someone, when you're speaking to someone like Matty English, do you point to someone like Sam Hewitt and say, look, this is a guy who's gone away and come back, and is a mainstay of the side at the moment. That it's not a negative thing.
Or you can do. Probably Matty's is a different situation because Matty's is just pure about keeping match fitness, where Sam's before was more about his development and getting him towards a level, really. That's when kind of Sam really went out on loan, was to do that. So different situations for different players. So you can do that if it was the same situation, you could use it. But like I say, this one was more just about keeping him match fit, mate, to be fair.
And what's the situation with Jake Connor? Because there's been some suggestion that he's possibly being offered out on loan at the moment, short term.
Yeah, listen, mate, I don't want to speculate on Jake at the moment. At the moment, Jake's not been in our starting team, so he's a high quality player. He's going to want to play games. So yeah, he's here at the moment. He's in the squad. He's been training with us today. He's been good today. He's been good throughout the week, to be fair. So we'll just deal with that. But yeah, at some point he probably is going to have a little look if he's not playing, because like how we want to keep Matty English fit, Jake's not going to want to not play. He's a player who wants to play.
What about behind the scenes? Obviously, there's player movement within the current squad at the moment. What about player movement coming in? How are those wheels turning in the background? Mate,
they're always ongoing. Them, they're hard work. You've kind of got to have that kind of conveyor belt, and it's got to keep working. But really, as a coach, you kind of just want to focus on what you're doing right here and right now, and not be too overly worried about that. But if you're not doing that, you're going to fall behind at somewhere. So yeah, are we looking? Are we speaking to people? We are. Yeah, we are. We're talking to agents both in the UK and in Australia. So yeah, what we want to do is obviously make sure that any players that we bring in make us better and improve us as a team. The one thing, like I say, is we've lost players over the last couple of years, which means you're always kind of starting again, where you want to get a little bit of continuity and consistency. So yeah, we're on with the recruitment side of it, but we're worrying about more what's right here and now, mate.
If I threw the name Damien Cook at you, is there any heat in?
Yeah, so Lucas has just told me about that. So there was a piece this morning. He was a player who was interested in, mate, but I don't think he's got any appetite to come over to Super League right now. And then I think Lucas was saying there was some kind of big money fees being thrown about, apparently, which, yeah, everyone always thinks you have loads of money. It's chaos. Yeah, would we have been interested? 100% would have been interested. Who wouldn't have been interested in him? So yeah, that's it. But it's not happening. So there's no point in talking about it and going back over it.
What about on the field? What do you want to see on Friday?
More what we've been about the last couple of weeks is we've been a little bit more like a team, haven't we, and playing for each other and doing the right things. So a bit more of that consistency and that kind of grit and desire that we've shown for each other over the last couple of weeks. To be fair, it always comes down to effort and working as hard as you can for each other and work for the best of the team, and that's what we kind of want to see. And I think we've been better at that over the last couple of weeks, mate. To be fair.
What's your gauge on KR?
Yeah, same as always as what you kind of get with KR. They're a good team, mate. They've been building for probably six years or something like that now, where they've been kind of competing at kind of the top end. Yeah, they've got a good group of players, a good strength in depth in terms of there, and then they've got some really good kind of individuals, but who play their role within the team.
Jake, welcome to the conversation. Nice to see you. What's your take on the season so far?
I mean,
that's not too broad a question.
It's probably not gone the way we obviously wanted to do regarding that Challenge Cup and whatnot, but especially home form, we wanted to make it a fortress at home. But our away form speaks different, and going into this week, I think we're kind of confident and turning our season around a bit. I feel like we're still in a good spot, and we're not in an awful spot. We're still in kind of around that playoff kind of scenario, so I feel like we're in a good scenario.
What about personally? How do you gauge it so far?
It is what it is. Obviously, I would like to have played more, but it's all about competing. And the team started well at the beginning of the year, and we had a chat, didn't we, about obviously maybe going out on loan or whatnot. But I've just been patient. I feel like I've been patient, waiting for my chance, and then I've just got to keep playing consistent. Really, I just want to play good, consistent rugby. and then I can kind of hopefully follow on the back, trying to keep a good spot, and maybe, you know, see where it goes from there.
And you have been patient, haven't you? You've had to bide your time. Have you had ongoing conversations with the guy next to you?
Yeah, we've had good chats. Yeah. I mean, like, I just concentrate on doing my job for the team, most importantly, and then whatever follows, done it. So hopefully, when I do my job, the team performs well. Hopefully, and I just kind of get some rewards on the back of it.
And is the key now for you to sort of, you know, get yourself in the team and make sure you don't get out of it?
Yeah, lose it. I think that's most important. I obviously, I've come off the back of last year. Not everyone played well last year, but I feel like I've had quite a fair good run of games, and it's just maintaining a good, consistent performance, and then hopefully I can keep my name in that picture. I mean, like I said, off the back of last year, no one in our team performed well. It was quite a disappointing year last year, but it's all about nailing down that spot and obviously competing.
What about Chris Hill's 550th milestone? I mean, that's
ridiculous,
isn't it, in the game, especially in the position that he plays.
I was about to say, I can't imagine how he's feeling, to be fair. I know he goes in and out each week. He's always training. We look after him well, but he's always training, trains well, he plays well, plays hard, plays tough. I couldn't imagine it, to be fair. I feel knackered already. I'm only 27, 28 this year. But yeah, he's a top bloke. I really look up to Chris. He's one of them players you look up to as a leader. You just admire what he's done throughout his career, England, club level. Real good bloke.
Do you keep a note of how many games you're on personally, or is it one of those things that we sort of come to you and say, Jake, you're on 200th, whatever? Yeah,
I just think we'll wait for media to come, or the club to come forward and say, listen, you're on this so many games. I don't even know how many personally. I think I'm over 150 now. I think so, anyways. But yeah, you're just grateful for playing that amount of games. You know, not many people are in our scenario where people kill to play Super League, you know, at lower levels, and you've just got to be grateful and, you know, what you're doing in your everyday job, because there's people who graft 9 to 5s, and yeah, you just got to, it's quite humbling really when you put it into perspective of what he's done, 550 games, and yeah, it's quite admiring really.
And Hilly grafts as well.
Yeah, does he?
That's the thing, he does that as well.
100%.
Does a bit of plumbing work.
Exactly, especially on the back of it as well, yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Jake, if you're in and around 150, you've effectively got another 400 games to play before you get...
I can't even imagine that, to me. I can't even imagine that, mate. It's heavy, that.
How old would you have to be to get to that point?
God, how old's Chris now? 35. Another 10 years or so. Not for me, that.
You know, you have to cram a lot in. Just a couple of last points. What do you think you'll get from Hull KR on Friday?
Tough, grindy performance. I mean, like we said, they're well run. They compete hard. They work hard for each other, especially. But we've just got to match that and kind of outwork them, basically.
And this season, from what you've said, all is not lost. You're still in a good position. How much more do you feel there is to come from the Giants this year?
I feel like a lot of people write us off end of the day, but I feel like we've got a lot to give. It's like I said, the season's not done, so what's the point of people like writing it off already? I feel like everyone's disappointed from the Challenge Cup, so the be all end alls, the end all. The goal is the grand final and being around them top 6 teams and being a part of that. And you want to be, especially when I've come from Wigan, I've been a part of them games and stuff. But even at Salford, we was in there last year when we was in around that. When you've played in them, you want to be a part of them, and there's nothing better than being obviously in that, walking out to Old Trafford end of the year. There's no better feeling, obviously, being a part of a team who's worked so hard to get a one equal goal and working hard to get to it. So I feel like this team at the minute, it's obviously we're all on one page. It's just getting the performance out of it.
Good luck on Friday, guys. I'll
Appreciate
see you over there.
Thank you.
Cheers, JD.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi mate, you okay?
How you doing?
Yeah, good time. Just a few for what's up, please. Just on Jake Connor, is he still part of your long-term plans?
Yeah, mate. Like I said, he's part of our squad, mate. He's contracted here, so there's nothing different on that from us, mate. He's a player. Sometimes players have successful periods. Sometimes they have a little bit of a down period. They're in the team, they're out of the team. Sometimes it's kind of rugby life. Rugby is a massive kind of roller coaster, and nobody's exempt from that.
Sports, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, sport.
How was he reacting to? Because obviously he didn't play against Lee, did he? And he were on the bench last game.
Yeah. Obviously, we felt we needed to carry an outside back last time, so he was on the bench last week for us against FC. We only ended up needing him right at the back end. We lost another back rower again, and we had to flip Isan around. But overall, mate, he's been good, mate. I can't say he's not been anything else. He's been fine. He's been good. Is he happy that he's not playing? No, he's not, mate. He wants to play, but it's the job. It's the game, mate. To be fair.
Will he feature tomorrow?
No, he won't tomorrow.
Okay. So fans will see Matty English going as well, and the question if something's gone on behind the scenes. What would your response to that be?
With Matty?
Just overall with Jake going as well, and Matty's gone on.
Yeah, nothing's gone on behind the scenes, have
No, nothing.
Yeah. No, like I said, Matty's just gone for fitness.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think anything could go wrong with somebody like Matty anyway. He's a great guy, mate. I was talking to him yesterday actually, just about going to Castleford and stuff like that once we knew it was kind of finalised. And like I say, he's a guy who wants to play rugby. He's just excited to go and challenge. It's different for him. So it'll be good for him in some ways as well, because he'll get to see a different environment. He's been at Huddersfield all his career, and sometimes you only know what you see day in, day out. You don't know anything else. So it could be good for Matty in terms of helping him see different things as well. So, mate, I hope he goes really, really well for him, because like I say, ultimately the job is to come back here and play for us going forward. But at this moment in time, he's just not in that starting 17. But is he far from it? No, he's not far from it at all.
You know what people like to put two and two together.
Yeah, mate, everyone speculates, don't they? Everyone's always got an opinion, and that's the game, and people are kind of fine of having one, but sometimes it goes kind of way over the top with what thing. But yeah, there's no problems. There's been no problems with inside here, mate, especially with somebody like Matty English, mate, who's a champion bloke.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Just one final one. It's a testing period coming up on the road. Giving you 4 points off the top 6, could this be a season-defining period?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got like you say, a period to come up to where we've got two tough weeks where we get a little bit of a break straight away, and then we go again straight away. So it could work out real well. I think it's kind of one of them, like you say, defining moments of kind of what happens in a season. But I still don't think the season will be clear till later on in the year. You look over the last lot of years, and probably top 4 always end up breaking away at some point, but then in between that, it's always very tight in and around that area. Obviously you want to be in that kind of top 4 so then you're not in that kind of mix there going week by week. But I just think the competition is a lot tighter than what it's ever been before. So I mean, we go back to the St Helens and the League game and the Salford game, and look at how close them games were. There's not millions of miles between each team. The normally big difference is the Wigans and teams like that at the moment. There's a level in between them where you've got to be at your best if you're going to compete. If you're slightly off, you're going to get a good hiding. But most other teams are pretty neck and neck.
I think you said coming into the season that you'll be competing with the likes of Salford, Leeds. Is it about keeping on their coattails now?
Yeah, I think, like I say, all them games are massively important because they'll probably determine of where you finish. But at the same time, them teams can each pick each other off. So like Salford beat us at ours, but we beat Leeds at Leeds. Whereas if we go and beat Leeds and we go and beat Salford, well, then we're sat in a better position than probably what them two are. It balances out over the year, mate. It's about what you do week in, week out. You've just got to be at your best every single week nowadays. There's no game where you can't be at your best, to be fair. And if you are off, you beat.
Yeah. No, that's all from me. Thank you very much. All the best tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Tomorrow, guys.